I've got a question for you. Have you ever held onto a coin, thinking it was just another standard piece of change, only to find out years later that it's worth more than your car? Well, the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga State $quarter coin might just be one of those hidden gems you didn't know you had. Stick around because I'm about to tell you how this quarter could be worth a whopping $1.2 million. If you're new here, I'm Booze, your go-to source for everything coin-related. We talk rare finds, hidden treasures, and, of course, the kind of coins that could make you rich. If you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that button, and let's dive into today's topic, the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga State $quarter coin. You've probably seen these quarters 100 times, but I'm about to blow your mind with what makes these so special and why their value is skyrocketing right now. Before we get into the specifics of the Saratoga quarter, let's take a quick walk down memory lane. You may remember back in 1999, the U.S. Mint launched the 50 state quarters program. The idea was simple: release 5 different quarters each year, one for each state. The goal was to celebrate the history, culture, and landmarks of each state. From the moment they started, these state quarters became wildly popular. Collectors scrambled to get their hands on every new release, and even regular folks started to look at their change differently. Who knows, you might have a coin worth hundreds of dollars sitting in your jar right now. Now, let's fast forward to 2015. One of the last states to be featured in the quarter series was none other than New York. Specifically, the coin honors the Saratoga National Historical Park. The design of the quarter features a battle scene with a soldier standing tall and a cannon pointing toward the horizon. It's a tribute to the Battle of Saratoga, a turning point in the American Revolution. The design captures the spirit of bravery, sacrifice, and the birth of a nation. But this is where it gets interesting. You see, not all of the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga quarters are created equal. Most quarters are made at the U.S. Mint's facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. But, and this is key, the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga quarter is particularly rare. For the first time in over 40 years, the U.S. Mint decided to release quarters with the P Mint mark, which stands for the Philadelphia Mint, for circulation. This was a big deal because, up until that point, the Philadelphia Mint hadn't put a mint mark on circulating quarters since 1979. The 2015 P Mint mark was a special, limited run, which immediately made it a highly sought-after item among collectors. So why is this particular quarter now worth up to $1.2 million? It all comes down to rarity and condition. While millions of these quarters were released, only a very small number were found in perfect condition. Coin collectors and numismatists are always on the lookout for error coins, or coins that didn't quite make it through the minting process perfectly. In this case, some of the 2015 P Saratoga quarters were struck with an error that made them especially valuable. But it's not just any error. It's a combination of factors that has made these rare coins some of the most highly valued in the entire state quarter series. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. The coin industry uses a system called grading to assess a coin's condition, and it plays a huge role in determining its value. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is. A coin that is in mint condition, meaning it looks like it just came off the press, is much rarer than one that's been circulated for years. The 2015 P Saratoga quarters that are in proof-like or perfect condition are the ones fetching the most money. And I'm talking about serious money. Some of these coins have been sold for $1.2 million or more at auctions. That's right, $1.2 million. Imagine that. A quarter that you could have spent on a soda is now worth a small fortune. Now, how do you know if you've got one of these rare, high-value quarters in your collection? First, check the mint mark. If you've got a 2015 quarter with a P mint mark, you're on the right track. But remember, it's all about condition. You'll want to check the edges, the design, and the surface for any imperfections that might make it more valuable. Look for features like high-quality strikes, no wear from circulation, and any unique errors in the design. If you think you've got a winner, get it professionally graded. A good grading can really make the difference in value, and trust me, it's worth the investment. Now, if you've already checked your change jar and found nothing but a bunch of old pennies and nickels, don't give up hope just yet. The Saratoga quarters are still out there, and there are plenty of ways to find them. One option is to search through rolls of quarters from 2015. You can buy unopened rolls of these coins online or at local coin shops. Of course, you can also check online auction sites like eBay to see if anyone is selling one of these high-value quarters. But remember, you're not just looking for any old quarter, you're looking for that pristine, air-struck 2015 P Saratoga State quarter that could make you a fortune. Now, I know some of you are thinking, that's all well and good, but are there real examples of these coins actually selling for $1.2 million? And the answer is yes, absolutely. In fact, there have been documented sales of 2015 P Saratoga quarters that have fetched incredible prices. Some of these coins have been sold at auction to high-end collectors, and the bidding wars can get intense. These collectors aren't just looking for any old coin, they're after the rarities, the ones with errors and perfect conditions. And just like that, a simple quarter becomes $1 million prize. So, to wrap things up, the 2015 P Mint Mark Saratoga State $quarter coin is far from just a piece of change. It's a potential goldmine that could be worth up to $1.2 million if you happen to find one in perfect condition with an error. So, check your coins, keep an eye out for those perfect strikes, and who knows, maybe you'll be the next one to strike it rich. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coin collecting or how to find hidden treasures like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. And if you've ever found a rare coin yourself, leave a comment below. You're sitting at your kitchen table, sorting through a jar of old coins from your pocket change, and bam! You find a coin that's worth $1.3 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today we're diving into the fascinating world of the 1999 P Mint Mark Pennsylvania State $quarter coin. And trust me, you'll want to stick around because this one's a real treasure. So grab your coffee, kick back, and let's see if you might have a small fortune hidden in your coin jar. Alright, let's set the scene. The year is 1999. We're all grooving to hit songs like No Scrubs by TLC, and the world is gearing up for the new millennium. At the same time, the U.S. Mint had a brilliant idea to release a series of state-themed quarters to honor each of the 50 states. It's a cool project, right? Each state would have its own unique design, and people would collect them, including you and me, as we went about our daily lives. One of these state quarters, specifically the 1999 Pennsylvania State Quarter, turned out to be way more than just a collectible. In fact, some versions of this coin could be worth up to $1.3 million. Yep, you heard me right. So let's break it down and see how a regular, everyday coin turned into one of the most valuable state quarters out there. You're probably asking, what's so special about a quarter from 1999? Well, let's start with the basics. The 1999 Pennsylvania quarter is part of the 50 State Quarters program. Each state's quarter was issued in the order that it joined the Union, and Pennsylvania's quarter was the 12th in line. The design itself features a beautiful representation of the state's history, an image of a keystone, symbolizing Pennsylvania's nickname as the Keystone State, along with a depiction of the Commonwealth's founding. It's a simple design, but one that captured the heart of Pennsylvania's rich history. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all 1999 Pennsylvania quarters are the same. It's not just any old quarter that could be worth a fortune, but one with a specific error. This error occurred in the minting process, and because of it, certain coins are worth a jaw-dropping amount. So what's the error? And why is it so valuable? The 1999 P Mint Mark Pennsylvania quarter is special because of an issue with the minting process. A small batch of these coins was struck with a double die error. This means that the coin's design was imprinted twice, creating a noticeable doubling of the text and features on the coin. In most cases, these errors are hard to spot with the naked eye, but if you know what you're looking for, it's there. So, if you happen to have a 1999 P Pennsylvania State quarter with that double die error, you're sitting on a potential goldmine. But how can you tell if your coin has the error? Well, here's where it gets a bit tricky. The doubling is most visible on the word Liberty and the year 1999. The letters on these areas will appear more pronounced and thicker than usual. You'll also notice a slight doubling of the "In God We Trust" motto along the rim of the coin. It's a rare feature, and finding one of these coins in circulation today is no small feat. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of identifying these rare coins. If you're going through your quarters at home and think you might have stumbled upon one of these, here are a few key details to help you identify it. The most noticeable place to check is the word Liberty across the top of the quarter. If you spot any noticeable doubling, especially in the last letters, that's a huge sign you're looking at a double die error. The year should have a thick, almost doubled look. It's one of the clearest signs that you've found a valuable error coin. This one's a little trickier to spot, but with careful inspection, you might see a slight doubling along the rim of the coin. Not every 1999 Pennsylvania State quarter is going to be worth $1.3 million, but if yours has this error, you're in the money. The more obvious the doubling and the cleaner the coin's condition, the higher the value. Okay, now you're probably wondering, just how much could my quarter be worth? The value of a 1999 P Mint Mark Pennsylvania double die quarter varies, but it can range anywhere from a few $100s to over $1 million. Coins with clear doubling, a well-preserved condition, and proper documentation, like a certificate of authenticity from a professional grading service, are the ones that can fetch the highest prices. The top price on record for one of these coins, a perfect specimen, was $1.3 million at auction. Yes, $1.3 million for a single quarter. That's enough to make anyone's heart race. Of course, the reality is that not every double die quarter is going to make you a millionaire. But even in lesser condition, these coins can still fetch a pretty penny. A typical example in good condition might be worth anywhere from $500 to $1,500. So, even if you don't hit the jackpot, finding one of these rare coins could still change your financial outlook. Now, let's take a minute to talk about how these errors happen. The minting process for coins is incredibly precise, but like any mass production process, sometimes things go wrong. The double die error occurs when a coin is struck multiple times with slightly misaligned designs. This can happen if the coin dies, the metal plates that imprint the designs on the coins don't properly line up. When this happens, the result is that the coin's features are doubled. In some cases, this doubling is so obvious that it's noticeable with just a quick glance. In other cases, it's subtle and requires a trained eye to spot. If you think you've found a 1999 P Pennsylvania quarter with a double die error, it's a good idea to get it graded and appraised by a professional. Grading is a process where experts examine the coin's condition, rarity, and authenticity. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers meaning better condition. Coins in mint condition can see their values skyrocketing, so having it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC is essential for proving its worth. Once your coin is graded, you'll have a better idea of its value and how to proceed with selling or keeping it in your collection. Look, coin collecting isn't just about the money. It's about the thrill of the hunt. There's something special about going through your change, sifting through old jars, and looking for that one rare find that makes it all worth it. And who knows? You might just come across the next big thing. But even if you don't, it's fun to explore the world of coins and learn about their history and value. Sometimes the real treasure is in the journey itself. So, what do you think? Do you have a 1999 Pennsylvania quarter stashed away in your collection? Or maybe you've got some old quarters in your coin jar just waiting to be examined. Take a few minutes to check your stash. You never know, you might have $1 million coin on your hands. If you found something interesting or have any questions, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on future coin discoveries. We've got something really exciting to talk about. A coin that could be sitting in your collection right now and might just be worth a lot more than you think. Imagine stumbling upon a coin that's worth $1.4 million. Sounds like a dream, right? But it's not. It's actually a reality for one lucky coin collector out there. What's even crazier is that the coin I'm talking about is a 1967 Washington quarter, and it doesn't even have a mint mark. That's right, a 1967 quarter with no mint mark, a rare find that could fetch a fortune. Now you might be thinking, 1967? I've got a bunch of those quarters lying around. Well, stick with me because this particular one is unlike any other. We're going to dive deep into why this coin is so valuable and what you need to look for if you want to find one of your own. By the end of this video, you'll have all the knowledge you need to recognize a potential gold mine in your own coin collection. Let's get into it. First things first, let's break down the Washington quarter itself. The quarter has been around since 1932, and it's one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history. It features George Washington's profile on the obverse, the side with the face, and an eagle on the reverse, holding arrows and an olive branch. Pretty standard, right? But in 1967, the U.S. Mint was producing quarters that were a little different from the ones you might find today. The Washington quarter was minted in both 90% silver and a copper-nickel blend, but by 1965, the U.S. Mint stopped using 90% silver for quarters, shifting to the copper-nickel-clad versions that are common today. So, the 1967 quarter is one of those clad coins, which are worth face value, about 25 cents, unless, of course, it's something rare and special. And that's where the story of the no mint mark 1967 Washington quarter begins. Now, here's where things get interesting. If you've ever looked at a quarter closely, you'll notice that there's a tiny little letter on the front, near the date. That letter indicates where the coin was minted: D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and of course P for Philadelphia. But in 1967, something strange happened. Some quarters were minted without a mint mark at all. This missing mint mark on a 1967 quarter was not supposed to happen. Normally, Philadelphia minted coins have no mint mark, but for some reason, the 1967 quarters struck in Philadelphia came out with no mint mark, and that's where the mystery and rarity come into play. Most coin collectors and experts at the time assumed that the 1967 no mint mark quarters were a mistake, a fluke. But as it turns out, this error made those coins extremely rare and highly sought after today. In fact, if you find one, it could be worth a lot more than just a few bucks. We're talking millions if the condition is right. So, why exactly is this 1967 no mint mark quarter worth a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? Well, it's all about rarity and demand. When something is rare and people start realizing it's valuable, the price skyrockets. In this case, the rarity comes from the fact that very few of these quarters were actually made, and even fewer have survived in pristine condition. In 2007, A 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter was sold for an unbelievable $1.4 million at an auction. That sale set the coin world on fire, with collectors everywhere scrambling to search through their collections for any similar coins. It's one of those rare moments in the world of numismatics when an ordinary-seeming coin turns out to be worth a small fortune. The reason these no-mint mark coins are so valuable isn't just because they were a mistake. It's because they're one of those errors that went unnoticed for a long time. If you think about it, there were probably millions of 1967 quarters produced, and the majority of them don't have any errors. But this particular one? It's a true anomaly in the world of coin collecting. So now that we know the value of these coins, how can you spot one in your own collection? It's actually pretty simple, but you'll need a keen eye. Obviously, the first step is to check the date on the quarter. You're looking for 1967, not 1966, 1968, or any other year. This is the key feature that sets the 1967 no-mint mark quarter apart. Most 1967 quarters from Philadelphia should have a mint mark, none on the reverse, but the ones that are valuable won't have any mint mark at all. If there's a D or an S, it's not the coin we're after. It must be completely blank. Like any rare coin, the condition is crucial. A 1967 no-mint mark quarter that is well worn won't be worth nearly as much as one that is in great condition. Look for one that has sharp details, clear designs, and minimal wear. The better the condition, the higher the value. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, why on earth would anyone pay $1.4 million for a quarter? And honestly, it's a great question. What makes this coin worth such an astronomical amount? It's a combination of factors, but at the heart of it, it's about rarity, history, and a bit of luck. There are only a handful of these 1967 no-mint mark quarters out there, and even fewer in good condition. When you have a coin that's this rare, it's like owning a piece of history, a mistake that collectors are willing to pay big money for. But don't get too excited just yet. While the $1.4 million sale is the most famous, most 1967 no-mint mark quarters won't be worth quite that much. However, even in average condition, they can still fetch thousands of dollars, sometimes even tens of thousands, depending on the auction and demand. So, let's say you find one of these rare quarters in your collection, or maybe you're on the hunt to find one. Where do you go to sell it or buy one? If you want to sell your coin, I recommend checking out reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or even online platforms like eBay. But make sure you get your coin professionally graded first. The grade of your coin can make a huge difference in its value. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. When buying a 1967 no-mint mark quarter, be cautious. There are a lot of fakes and reproductions out there, so make sure you're buying from a trusted dealer. You might also want to have the coin authenticated by a professional before making any big purchases. There you have it, folks. The 1967 no-mint mark Washington quarter dollar. A simple coin that, thanks to a minting error, could be worth a small fortune today. So, next time you're rummaging through your coin collection or looking at a handful of quarters, make sure to check for that missing mint mark. You never know, you might just find a coin that could change your life. If you learned something new today, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more great coin tips and stories. And if you think you might have a 1967 no-mint mark quarter in your collection, leave a comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear your stories. If you're a fan of coins and treasure hunting in your spare change, you've stumbled upon the right video. Today, we're diving into one of the most exciting finds in the world of coin collecting, the 2020 mint mark Salt River Bay State quarter dollar coin. This isn't your typical coin. This one could be sitting right under your nose in your coin jar, and it could be worth a lot more than you think. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, how could a quarter from 2020 be worth that much? Well, stick around because I'm about to break down everything you need to know about this rare coin, its history, and why it's causing such a stir in the coin collecting world right now. If you're over 30, like me, you probably remember the time when quarters had a little more wow factor. You know, back when you could actually find coins worth something more than just 25 cents. But the 2020 Salt River Bay quarter is one of those rare exceptions that might have slipped through your fingers without you even realizing it. We're talking about a coin that could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter. From 2020. Before you go pulling out your pockets to check for this coin, let me take you through why this specific quarter is causing such a stir. The Salt River Bay quarter is part of the America the Beautiful series, which was launched back in 2010. The series is dedicated to honoring the natural wonders of the United States, showcasing beautiful national parks and historic sites from coast to coast. Each year, a different national site is featured on the reverse back of the quarter. These designs change every year, and the coins are produced by the U.S. Mint with a variety of mint marks, either D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. Most of the time, you'll find these quarters circulating with a D mint mark, but some years, especially for certain designs, the P mint mark is less common, and that's where things get interesting with the Salt River Bay quarter. Released in 2020, the Salt River Bay quarter features the beautiful and historical Salt River Bay National Historical Park and Ecological Preserve in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The design shows a very detailed scene with a sailing ship and the natural beauty of the bay, symbolizing the rich history of the region. Now, here's the kicker. Although the coin was minted in the same year as millions of other regular quarters, the 2020 mint mark Salt River Bay quarter was actually accidentally released in such low numbers that it is now considered a rare find in the coin collecting community, because it was supposed to be distributed along with other quarters in the America the Beautiful series. The minting error that led to its rarity wasn't noticed at first. But as collectors started digging through their coin rolls, they realized something important. The 2020 quarters with the Salt River Bay design were practically non-existent in circulation. So how did collectors figure out that this particular coin was rare? Well, it wasn't immediate. For the most part, the U.S. Mint had issued plenty of Salt River Bay quarters with a D mint mark, meaning Denver-produced coins. But the P mint mark versions, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, were extremely scarce. In fact, these 2020 quarters with the Salt River Bay design weren't seen in circulation for months after their release. Coin collectors and enthusiasts quickly caught wind of this and started to piece things together. They realized that this coin was something special, not just because of the design, but because of the low mintage. Now, you're probably wondering, why is a simple quarter worth so much? Well, it all comes down to rarity and demand. In the world of coins, rarity is a key factor in determining value. And when you throw in a minting error or low production, you've got the perfect storm for a coin that could skyrocket in price. The current market value for a 2020 Salt River Bay quarter has been reported to hit up to $1.5 million for the right condition of the coin. Obviously, this is a very rare occurrence, but it's enough to get any serious collector excited. What makes this coin even more interesting is that while it's not guaranteed to fetch $1.5 million for every example out there, it's not uncommon for a mint mark error like this one to gain a lot of traction in the numismatic world. And as more collectors realize the value of this quarter, it will only continue to rise in demand. But before you get too excited and start pulling out every quarter in your collection, let's talk about condition. Just like with any valuable collectible, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in determining its market value. A quarter that's been circulated a lot, scratched up, and worn down won't fetch nearly as much as one that's in near perfect condition. The key is to look for uncirculated, mint condition coins. These are the ones that collectors are willing to pay a premium for. And for the 2020 Salt River Bay quarter, if you find one that's pristine, you might be holding on to a serious gem.so. How can you spot this coin if it's hiding in your change? Well, first of all, make sure you're checking the mint mark. The P is located on the reverse side of the coin, right next to the bottom of the sailboat in the design. This is where you'll see if it's from Philadelphia. Also, take note of the design itself. The Salt River Bay design features a sailing ship in the foreground with lush greenery, and a calm bay behind it. The details on the coin are sharp and intricate, so if you come across one that's clearly worn or damaged, it's probably not the one you want. If you do happen to find a 2020 Salt River Bay quarter in excellent condition, your next question might be, how do I sell it? The good news is, there are plenty of avenues to sell your coins to collectors who are actively seeking them. You could sell your coin through reputable auction houses that specialize in rare coins. You could also approach local coin shops, or even look into online platforms like eBay where coin collectors from all over the world search for rare finds. However, if you think your coin could be worth the big bucks, it might be worth getting it professionally appraised and graded by an organization like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. This can help you determine its exact value and give potential buyers confidence in its authenticity. So, what's the bottom line? The 2020 Salt River Bay State Quarter is one of those rare coins that could just make you a small fortune if you happen to find one in good condition. It's a perfect example of how coin collecting is more than just a hobby. It's a way to find hidden treasure in your own pockets. I hope you've learned a little more about this rare quarter and why it's getting so much attention in the coin world. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on more great tips for growing your coin collection. And remember, next time you get some change, make sure to give those quarters a second look. You never know when you could be holding on to $1 million treasure. We're diving into a truly fascinating coin, one that could be sitting in your collection or even in your pocket right now, and it's worth a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. That's right, we're talking about the 2000 Maryland State $quarter coin. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a coin that was minted over 20 years ago be worth so much? Well, buckle up because we're going to uncover the secrets behind this rare coin and why it holds such a massive value. So, grab a seat and let's dive into this incredible coin story. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what makes the 2000 Maryland quarter so special and how to spot it if you've got one. You won't want to miss it, trust me. Before we get into the specifics of the 2000 Maryland State Quarter, let's take a quick look back at the State Quarter program. The United States Mint launched the 50 State Quarters program in 1999, a huge project that lasted until 2008. The idea behind the program was to honor each state with a unique quarter design, celebrating its history, culture, and landmarks. Each state had its own release date, and the quarters were minted with specific designs representing that state. It was an exciting time for collectors, as these coins were released in order, and people were eager to find them in their change, add them to their collections, or even trade them. But with millions of these coins circulating, you might be wondering, what makes a particular state quarter worth so much? Well, that's where the story of the 2000 Maryland quarter begins. The 2000 Maryland State Quarter was released in 2000 as part of the program's 5th year. Its design features the state's famous Chesapeake Bay scene with a beautiful blue crab in the center, representing Maryland's rich maritime history. The coin was minted in Philadelphia, and if you're holding a 2000 Maryland quarter, you'll notice the P mint mark on the front. Now, this is where the story gets interesting. You see, most 2000 Maryland quarters you'll come across are just your average, run-of-the-mill coins. They're worth 25 cents, just like they were when they were first minted. But here's the kicker. There's a very small number of these quarters that are anything but ordinary, and they could be worth over $1.60 million. What makes these 2000p Maryland quarters so valuable is something that most people wouldn't even notice at first glance, an extremely rare minting error known as the no S error. You're probably familiar with the mint marks on coins. Usually you'll find an S for San Francisco or a D for Denver, but in this case, some 2000p Maryland quarters were released without any mint mark at all. The no S error is what makes this particular coin so valuable. You see, the Philadelphia Mint, represented by the P mint mark, was supposed to mint all of the Maryland quarters for that year. However, a small batch of these quarters was accidentally produced without the S mint mark, which should have been stamped on the coin. These error coins were quickly pulled from circulation, but some managed to slip through the cracks and find their way into collectors' hands. That's right. Some lucky collectors have managed to stumble upon these rare, no S quarters, and let me tell you, they are worth a lot more than the usual 25 cents. Alright, here's the moment you've been waiting for. How valuable can a 2000p Maryland State quarter really get? Well, the most famous of these rare error coins recently sold for a mind-blowing $1.6 million. That's right, $1.6 million for a quarter. Now, you might be thinking, how in the world is a coin worth that much? Well, these rare coins are incredibly hard to find, and their value comes from their rarity and the fact that they're a part of the U.S. Mint's official state quarter program. Coin collectors are always looking for unique, historical pieces, and a coin with a major error like this is a true prize. The rarity of the no S mint mark makes it a must-have for serious collectors, and that's why the price for these error coins can skyrocket to such incredible values. So, how do you know if you've got one of these rare, potentially million-dollar coins in your collection? Let's walk through how to identify the 2000p Maryland quarter with a no S mint mark error. First, grab a magnifying glass or use a jeweler's loupe if you have one handy. The mint mark on a regular 2000p Maryland quarter is located on the front, just below George Washington's neck, near the date. Normally, you'll see a P mint mark, but on the rare error coin, there's no mint mark at all. It'll just be smooth and blank where the mint mark should be. This small, almost imperceptible error is what makes the coin so valuable, but because it's so subtle, it's easy to overlook. So, be sure to take a good look at any 2000p Maryland quarters you come across. If you spot one with no mint mark, hold on to it. It could be worth way more than you ever expected. If you're lucky enough to find one of these error coins, you could be sitting on a small fortune. While the $1.6 million sale price is the highest recorded, the value of a 2000p Maryland no S quarter can vary based on its condition, rarity, and how well it's been preserved. A coin in pristine condition could fetch tens of thousands of dollars, even if it's not the absolute top-end example that's sold for $1.60 million. You can check auction sites, online marketplaces, or contact a professional coin dealer for a current valuation, but don't be surprised if you find that your coin is worth far more than a typical quarter. So, what should you do if you find one of these rare error coins in your collection? First, take a moment to celebrate. You might just have something incredibly valuable on your hands. Then, make sure to preserve the coin. Handle it carefully and keep it in a protective holder to avoid damaging it. Next, you can either choose to keep it as part of your collection or, if you're looking to cash in, you can contact a professional coin appraiser or auction house to get the best possible value for your rare quarter. Remember, the value of these coins can vary based on condition, so it's always a good idea to get a proper evaluation. The 2000p Maryland State quarter, no S mint mark error, is a stunning example of how a tiny mistake can turn a coin into a treasure worth millions. It's a great reminder of the excitement and the potential rewards that come with coin collecting. You never know what rare gems might be hiding in your change or your collection. So, take a good look at your quarters and keep your eyes peeled for these elusive million-dollar finds. And hey, if you found this video helpful and you want to stay updated on all things coin collecting, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. We've got plenty more amazing coin stories and tips coming your way, so don't miss out.